Hey guys, Music Man here, and now we're going to take a look at some more of my Bloody Queen gameplay. Let's take a look. Alright guys, so this first match was actually like kind of insane how it played out. I was just kind of like, I really want to have a win, so I end up finding the Prospector here. And I end up getting a nice insta-mirror on the Prospector there. And this ends up being a really quick down after I use Patroller. So spoiler alert there. He goes to 3 pallet there. I'm right on his tail. These pallets, you can't really loop around them, so you just kind of break them, although a lot of times they'll just not bother looping around that one. But I'm going to go ahead and Patroller this Prospector here. And he's going to try to make me cut out the stun with a magnet there, but I wait till the Patroller stuns, and that gives me just enough time to down the Prospector there. So you can see just how early that down was, but this works primarily on lower tiers, although I was kind of surprised it worked. At this point, I think I was like Orc 3 or 2 or 3, something like that. And I was kind of surprised that that worked out this tier. Now I decided to leave that pallet. That cord vaults that pallet, that's an easy terror shock. This area, I can body block this area, and that cord can't get in. So that gave me a free hit without risking a rescue there. And at this point, you can see it's after half. This cord's just sitting there. She doesn't really know what to do, when in reality, she can just go around the side. She tries shooting me, going around, but she ends up needing to vault that area. And that allows me to easily follow up with a backup attack, and that is a stuffed rescue. So if those pallets are broken, now again, don't do it with pallets that aren't broken. You'll just get pallet stunned, so don't forget that. But this hardly ever works, but it just happened to work out this rank match, and I wanted to show you all that's there. If those pallets are broken, you can sometimes stall it out by a survivor that's not expecting you to body block there. But if you body block that, that a lot of times gives you a chance to be able to do that. So you can see just kind of how that worked out. That cord even shot her gun there, so she's got no rebound potential. And I don't know where the survivor is at. I kind of thought that wildling would continue with that cipher, but I'm looking around for what ones are wiggling. I really thought that wildling was just going to stay put, but looks like that's not how that worked out. But at this point, I'm going to camp this down, because if I get this down, this is a guaranteed win. So I'm not going to leave this, even if it is kind of boring, waiting while nobody else is rescuing. I mean, in tournament, I guess I could go out and try to prevent the third cipher from popping just to save myself the slugging time. However, I really just kind of want to stay in this area because this is ranked. And at this point, I can just kind of go wherever, because that coordinator is now eliminated. And we can see only like probably around 3 minutes have passed in the game so far, and I already have 2 survivors eliminated. So really being able to stuff that rescue really bought me a whole lot of time. And I didn't really feel like chasing a wildling there. I wanted to wait to see where a lawyer might have been decoding. Because it's not even that I didn't have the time, it's just that it's not really fun chasing a wildling, to be honest, because the wildling is faster than the hunter. But it didn't look like I really had any other choice in this matter, because I couldn't find the lawyer. But either way, at least the wildling is injured, and he's off his boar, so this should be really, really quick down. Oh, I did end up finding the lawyer there, so I decided to just go ahead and chase the lawyer anyway, because I didn't want to risk a boar there. And I've got my mirror here. I end up actually doing a poor job with this mirror. It's really hard hitting the mirrors when you're in walled off areas, so like sandbags or the other ruins that's over by by Armsgate. I somehow lose track of the lawyer here. But I find the footprints again. If he would have just crept there, he would have been able to get away from me temporarily. But, I mean, the other survivor remaining is a wildling. Come on. How long is it going to take for a wildling to decode 3 ciphers? So this wildling is probably just looking for dungeon. And this lawyer is transitioning to factory and is actually doing quite a nice job. But I'm also kind of just half-heartedly chasing because I'm able to take as much time as I need with this, because obviously the wildling's not going to waste his time decoding. And I've got my mirror here, so that down secures me the win there. So that was GG's, but you can see I really just only really wanted to show you all this match because of that that 3 pallet body block there. I've learned that through watching like 1 or 2 hunters do it, and I mean you can see where that can lead to a lot of possible strategies where, like, if you're a Dream Witch, you can get like followers body blocking both areas, and then they have to go through one specific area in order to pull a rescue, and just a whole lot of mess, like that. Ultimately, this wildling gets dungeon because, just like Merc, he's able to tank hits before he ends up getting to the dungeon anyways. So, because he's able to hop right off his board into dungeon, and I actually learned that through this match. I don't face a lot of wildlings, so I didn't really recognize that before. So really all that happens is wildling comes by on his board and hops right into a dungeon, and that's pretty much all that's it. But when it comes to a rank match, obviously I'm going to take the last chair I can get and then camp the last chair, although if this was a tournament match or anything of the likes of that, of course I would be able to go ahead and slug and go for that 4-man there, if need be. And see, this wildling's just going to hop right off his board. I didn't even realize you could do that, but apparently you can. So now we're going to take a look at another arms match. And this one, the beginning was kind of a bit iffy because the entomologist was obviously lagging. And usually there's a player that spawns there, but I'm assuming that they just moved out of that area or something. But I end up finding the looks like the coordinator first. And I was actually surprised that didn't hit, but I end up finding the entomologist here, and I'm going to chase the entomologist first here. And I was kind of surprised that wasn't a terror shock, but it was all good. I didn't realize the entomologist was lagging, so I ended up using a patrol that was probably unnecessary, but yeah, I didn't really see she was lagging there, but I used my patrol, and either way, this is going to be a really quick down. And it's not really because of the entomologist's fault, it's just that Identity has a lot of bad ping at like random points in the game. Even if, like, I should usually, like, my internet speed test, say I have like 10 ping, and then I'll end up with like 150 in-game at points, and sometimes it even spikes up to like 300 or so, depending on the day and how busy the servers are. But I end up seeing the coordinator here, and the coordinator would usually be the first rescue in this team comp, so I was assuming that that cord was going to go for that rescue there, and I was trying to bait the gun into the tree, but I end up just settling for a regular hit, I guess. I end up getting a double hit on the coordinator here, and I wanted to hide behind that wall just so that I would have been able to block the gun if she decided to shoot, but you can see that was obviously lagging. But of course, a lot of this beginning part is not what I wanted you all to learn and apply at this point, but I wanted you all to watch what comes after. So just go ahead and stay tuned through this. I'm going to get the coordinator eliminated on the chair. And you can see the barmaid's right here. She gets hit. She's going to be able to pull a rescue off here, because survivors are able to rescue through that chair or whatever, you know. This entomologist gets double hit, and you can see, obviously, there's lag. And the entomologist is going to be going down. And the coordinator is staying by. Now, what they should have done is they should have just stayed decoding through this area, but I think the coordinator actually comes by and tries to shoot me with the gun at this point. In which case, if you can see it coming a mile away, you can just go ahead and drop the survivor. And you can see that's what I did. And now that's a wasted flare gun for the coordinator. And that's one elimination. So now we're at 2 ciphers left. I want you all to watch what I do here. So I end up seeing the barmaid right over here. End up getting a hit on the barmaid. But what I do next is important here, because eventually I'm going to leave this barmaid and I'm going to go straight to harassing the ciphers, because this one over by Shack is going to pop at some point. And then there's only 1 cipher remaining. But being that I stalled the last cipher out for so long, I was able to pull it into a win. And a lot of these pallet areas here can be quite tough to work around as a hunter. But I end up coming across the barmaid there. The cord was highlighted, so at least I know where the coordinator is at. I kind of thought that mech was going to be pallet camping there. But you can see I kind of essentially left the barmaid to harass the final ciphers. And watch what I do here. So mechanic's got slow braking speed. I wait for her to start that pallet and then I go ahead and swing at it. Because she's got such slow pallet braking speed, it can be a lot easier to predict that. So watch what I do here. Mirror switch, terror shock. So that's just another example of, like, you can get away with ignoring like the beginning of the if you can switch right there like I did. Don't always ignore the mirror right afterwards. You can still use it to attack if need be. And here we've got I'm looking around to see where the next rescue might be coming from, and it looks like the barmaid's decoding that cipher over there while the coordinator is going to be the one going for the rescue, which I think is completely warranted. Coordinator's got slow decoding right now, and somehow the coordinator managed to get a perfume. But at this point, I just want to harass that final cipher. I didn't know how much progress this cipher had on it, so I didn't want to risk a pop, and that would be an automatic draw. So these 2 ciphers are the ones that the survivors go to for like the rest of the game, so these are the 2 that I need to harass. And the coordinator's right over here, but I want to make sure that cipher doesn't pop. And the barmaid ends up using her drink, which is fine. And I end up finding the barmaid here. The barmaid was extremely lucky at this point. Watch what happens here. Drink finishes just in time for her to be able to heal up and tank another hit. But that was super, super close to being down right there with that speed drink. But it was just like in the nick of time. This coordinator's right here. I ended up swinging through the pallet. Somehow that didn't hit, but the less pallets she has in this area, the easier it's going to be for me. And right now I'm just working on injuring everybody, force them to heal up, get off those ciphers. The barmaid's also here. I end up switching to abnormal and switching out that cipher there. And what I want to do is I want to make my way over this area because I don't know how much progress this cipher has on it. And you can see this cipher has a good chunk of progress on it. And now I'm just working on applying as much pressure as I can And this is exactly why I wanted to show you all this video, because we can see I end up missing that mirror there. That was kind of unfortunate, but I know I need to stick between these two ciphers. This one has a lot of progress on it, so I know I can't leave that no matter what, or else it's just going to pop. So I kind of have to take a risk there. I'm just going to go ahead and camp this cipher so that they can't pop it. And see, the mechanics cipher is about halfway done, but like everybody else is injured, so the mechanics obviously got slow healing. I end up getting a hit on the mechanic, and now I'm going to go back to this cipher here. They're being forced to try to heal up if they want to do anything, but I interrupt them in the mid-healing process, and this coordinator is in this area here. But also so is the barmaid. I can go ahead. I want to make sure that nobody's decoding that cipher in the middle, because in the end, the cipher pressure is far more important than anything else. I'm going to use abnormal, make it so that I can have a little bit more leeway around that cipher, so it buys me a little bit more time. And it looks like the mech left. So I end up mirroring back to this cipher, and this barmaid is going to go down right over here. So now I can go ahead and take the barmaid to the chair. Now that gives me, that's able to guarantee me pulling one survivor off of a cipher for a rescue, which is going to be the mechanic, because the mechanic's the one not injured. The cord can't pull a rescue there. And we can see the mechanics going for the rescue, but my concern is just keeping survivors on the chairs. I mean, I can leave the cord down for a little while I injure the mechanic so that nobody can rescue. And we can see that there. And their only hope was finishing that cipher right there. And the barmaid thought that she would be able to be sneaky and finish off that cipher there. That's at about 80%. And that barmaid's going to go down. And it looks like the coordinator might have self-healed at some point, which is why she's stuck at 90%. But now that barmaid's going to be going on that chair. And at this point, they need to try to pop a cipher here. Although I was not expecting them to go for that rescue there. That pretty much gave me a free down on the coordinator there. And at this point, I think I can pretty much leave her down. This mechanic right here is on this cipher that's nearly prime. I'm going to go ahead and give that another nice abnormal. And you can see the effect lessens after every abnormal. I couldn't get a good placement on the mechanic there, so you saw I ended up placing it in an area I knew I was wrong, and then I rotated so that I could position it towards the mechanic, because there was that water jug or whatever in the way. So this mechanic's going back on the chair, and now at this point I don't know if what cipher they're trying to decode at, or if they're trying to heal up. And we can see on the screen that they're healing up by the Arms Factory one. I thought they would have been going for 3 pallet, or at least a cipher that had progress, but evidently not. This barmaid's going in this area, and I know if I can stall out this barmaid long enough, that mechanic's going to be eliminated, and this is going to be a 3-man at worst. So you can see that barmaid really should have just tanked the hit and went for it if that cipher was close to being primed. But I end up being in this area. Nobody's nearby. We can see the tinnitus is going off, which means that they're working on another cipher together. We can see that is this one right here. And what I do so I don't have to deal with the attack hit recovery is I go ahead and abnormal it, and then I get an easy down on the coordinator. So being that I did that, I can now go ahead and target the barmaid here. Somehow that mirror didn't hit, but you know, it happens sometimes. And it honestly doesn't matter at this point, since this is a guaranteed win at this point. I think the coordinator already self-healed, so I can chase the barmaid as long as I need. I've got basically full detention on, so yeah, this barmaid's going to be going down pretty fast. There's no way for the coordinator to go up at this point. And now the barmaid is down, and that's GG. So you see, that could have been an easy draw for the survivors, but being that the survivors were close together, that made me able to do a lot of map pressure there. And we can see I'm in spawn group 2. And like I explained in my spawn group video, this is the area that I'm going to go to for spawn group 2. And unfortunately, that is the mercenary. So there goes my good spawn. I don't want to chase hospital. Man, I can see that's the first officer there. I don't want to chase the first officer anyways. And I end up finding the magician, which I guess works. I'm going to go ahead and throw down a patroller on this magician right here. And I want to conserve my mirror here. I don't want to use my mirror if I don't have to. And you can see I'm able to get an easy first hit on that magician there. Because of the patroller, he wasn't able to kite there. And now I'm able to go ahead and easily follow up with a hit on the magician. And now that dude's going to be really difficult to save. So I'm going to go ahead and take him to, in my opinion, the lousiest chair on the map. I mean, a lot of people say that one in Backgate's pretty bad, and it is, but in my opinion, this one's worse because you have no transition potential for a long distance there. So if you get a survivor in that chair, you're pretty good to camp it. And I don't have my patroller here, so I can't stall out this rescue. I decide just to go for a double hit. And I'm going to mirror right on that dude right there. And I end up getting a double hit on the merc, which gives me flexibility to target the magician. And I end up finding the magician around the corner. And I ended up just kind of swinging, hoping that I would hit, but I thought it would have been kind of dumb for him to try to loop back. And honestly, he should have just conserved his wand. It wasn't a super helpful illusion there. But now I can go ahead and take the magician to, in my opinion, the second worst chair in the map. And now that I double hit the mercenary, that counters Cypher Rush because one of them is probably going to go for the rescue. And then the prisoner would be the only one decoding then if he's not healing the mercenary. So that if they decide to have one person heal and then one person decode, then nobody rescues and I have at least a draw. But at this point, I can't see exactly where the officer's at, so I don't want to risk hitting the chair. So I finally found where the magician was at, and I go ahead and get another easy hit on the magician. So now at this point, there's nothing you can really do. And this magician's going to be going down. There's 3 ciphers remaining, so this is in the tie or win potential area. So I'm feeling pretty safe at this point. Ideally, I'm going to find where the prisoner is at, but I end up finding the merc. And I ended up just sort of swinging there, and I do end up hitting the mercenary. So that mercenary really should have just elbow padded right on out of there. But being that he didn't, I was able to take advantage of that. And I can see right there, that basement is right there. So if I were to see that basement was right over there, I would have also elbow padded away from that area because being caught in basement is literally the worst thing as a survivor, especially when you have 3 ciphers remaining with 1 survivor already eliminated. So now the merc is in the basement and the first officer is, we can see, is decoding that cipher right there. And I can tell because when I was watching the replay of this, the first officer actually used their actually use their last pocket watch on that area. They use the first one on the first rescue and then use their second pocket watch there, which I personally think is kind of questionable. I would have wanted to save it for a chase instead of an insta-mirror, but I mean, you know, I guess it works. And we can see that the prisoner is in this area. I don't know that I quite noticed him as much as I was trying to keep track of this first officer here, but even if they go for that rescue there, it doesn't really matter so much because I'm going to be able to easily get another survivor eliminated before the final ciphers remaining. So I switched to teleport here, and that basically stuffs that rescue there. So now that merc's not going to be able to be rescued there. And now I can just focus on the first officer or the prisoner if I find him. Nobody's going for a rescue at this point. First officer can't. Prisoner presumably too far away. And there's no tinnitus going off, so I just go ahead and kind of leave. So I'm going to go ahead and I get juked a couple times, but I can go ahead and switch with my mirror here. This cipher's primed, but I switched to teleport, so there's not a whole lot I can do about that. I'm going to get rid of the connection so the first officer can't just eliminate that there and get one final cipher there. But I find the first officer here, and I'm going to go ahead and down the first officer. That prisoner is going to be going for that cipher there. Oh my goodness, stop with the thank yous. Thank you very much. Okay, so first officer's on chair. This is a guaranteed win at this point. This prisoner, I guess, might as well try and rescue because I know exactly where he's at. He's not going to be able to kite me to a dungeon that he doesn't even know where the spawn is at. And no matter who he rescues, that prisoner ends up getting downed. I'm going to go ahead and mirror rotate. And now I'm going to be able to target this first officer for pretty much as long as I want. I can get rid of all this pallet spam as I go. And eventually I'll have nothing to work with. I'm just waiting for my mirror cooldown at this point. Keep him in this area. Keep him immobilized. And now that first officer is going down. And I'm like, I might as well go for the 4-man. Why not? He's right here. And I end up getting the prisoner down there. And yeah, that's GG's. Well, I hope you all enjoyed that video. Please leave any questions or comments in the comment section below. And I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.